Tom Wills was the finest captain, the best tactician, the longest kick of a football, the most commonly mentioned name in the early years of what was to become Australian rules football. He was the most influential individual by far.
Why is Tom Wills an Australian legend? Same reason as Burke and Wills, same reason as the boys at Gallipoli, same reason as Ned Kelly. Because he represents an aspect of Australian experience at its most vivid and intense. And the power of his story is not diminished after 130 years.
Gentlemen aren't born, Tom. They're made. And I'm determined to make you one of them. You'll be leaving us within the month.
Leaving where?
You'll be sailing for England.
But...
Arrangements have been made for you to have a proper education.
Father...
It will be the making of you, young Tom. Make the most of it, lad.
In his early teens, his father decided that it was time that his education was broadened. He should go away to school, and he took him off to England by boat in the mid-1800s and put him into the rugby school in England. As far as we know, he was not a particularly good student, not that he didn't have the ability, but he was more interested in playing games. And he ultimately became captain of rugby and captain of cricket over there, and was a very, very popular figure.
Deny my dear, deny my...
His role with the first cricket team, the black cricket team, that clearly says a lot about the man and about his relationship with Indigenous people.
Because if you look at the people who put the rules together, there was one Irishman, there was an Englishman, there was an Australian, and there was Tom Wills. So you had a real mismatch of people and thoughts and ideas of how the game should evolve.
The most important time of his life was the massacre of his family.
Tom travelled with his father and 19 other men, women and children to Queensland. They set up a station, a cattle station, cattle and sheep station. They'd been there for some little time and started to run short of basic supplies at the station site. Tom and the young shepherd were dispatched down the trail to where they had stored some food.
And then Tom heads off, walking through this landscape. He believes that the Aboriginal people are going to attack, and they're going to attack at any time. I think they're away 3 days, and they come back and they're at the two mounds, the 2 mass graves. They walk back into the middle of it, and all these possessions scattered everywhere.
So Tom farmed on for a couple more years, came back to Melbourne to captain the Victorian cricket team on quite a number of occasions when they played interstate games, and then went on to help establish the Melbourne Football Club, for whom he played, and the Geelong Football Club, for whom he played.
He defined football and created football, and when he could no longer play, there was probably part of his life that was very hollow and very empty.
Tom Wills was the most important person by far in the origins of Australian rules football.
You can't understate the effect that Tom Wills has had on the game of Australian rules football, and passion to be able to stand there and say, well, this is a game I really reckon people should play. And from small things, big things grow. And I mean, without that stance and without that passion early in his career and early in his life for this game, well then hundreds of thousands of people wouldn't have the opportunity to enjoy it, both as players and as spectators. And I think, you know, the game's gone on an enormous journey.
I say it's a bastard of a game for a bastard of a people. It's swift, bold, beautiful game.